You dread getting out of bed. You go to school, commute to your part-time job, get back home, scroll the rest of the day on TikTok or spend the day watching Netflix. But when that screen turns blank and you're staring at your own reflection, there's a still voice. You know you can be better. You know you're not meant for this. You know this is not what you're supposed to be doing. But you don't know how. And even worse, you don't know what to become. That's why you resort to things like women, drinking, alcohol, video games, and all other degenerate outlets. Not necessarily because you're degenerate yourself, but this is a cycle. This experience is not unique to your persona. And most people fail to understand that this is just a cycle and they dwell indefinitely in that level. As a young man, everybody comes to a point in his life when he realizes that he's no longer a kid and the world is harsh and he has to do something else. He's going to be stuck in the system, working in 9 to 5. That's why we revert gravitates naturally to these escapism methods like Netflix, alcohol, and all other outlets. I don't need to name them for you. People fail to understand this. And naturally, when you gravitate towards those kind of things, everyone who seeks for a high ultimately understands that eventually that high will turn to a low. The reason for all of this, the remedy, I'm sure you've never heard this perspective before, but the remedy for your misery is purpose. You lack purpose. You lack excitement in your life. Your life is tasteless and colorless. You detest yourself because there's nothing to get out of bed for. You are not making no progress. That's why, let me tell you something. Look at the time the most time you've been happiest in your life is when you are making progress towards something. It could be anything. It could be something as small as planning for that next party, the hype, the communicating with your boys constantly on the group chat, talking about how you're going to do X, Y, and Z. Or the time you got a girlfriend, you can't wait to send out that good night text or text her during lunch. And all those activities, if you extrapolate it on a macro scale, you will see that what you seek innately is progress. You want to strive towards something, but you're taking it the wrong way. You're taking the easy route. You lack purpose and identity. When I say identity and purpose, most people go for the first. Most people start looking for identity first, but you are wrong to start by trying to find yourself. Oh, I want to find myself. Look for your purpose and eventually identity will follow. When I say Ronaldo, what comes to your mind? Discipline, ethics, football. That is his purpose, which has ultimately translated into his identity. When you say Kobe Bryant, immediately your mind goes to basketball, your mind goes to business, diligence, hard work. It's in your purpose, in the hard early nights that you find your purpose and ultimately it translates to your identity. So when you look for number two and number one would inevitably follow. You lack purpose. If you got into this juncture of the video, you said, I've heard so much about this purpose, and you've deterred this conversation completely. So you've told yourself, maybe when this external thing happens, then I'll have this conversation. You've lied to yourself constantly that this current limitation is as a result of process, which is a fallacy. You know it as well as I do. You know you're not making any progress. You know this is not part of a process. And if it is so, what's the name of the process? Or what are your actions laddering up to? Exactly. You don't know because it's a lie. You're lying to yourself. Take action. That's the first thing. Take action. And this is one of the most overused concepts. I've heard it from so many people in the self-development space. Take action. But what does that actually mean? Okay, I've heard all you've said for the past 7 minutes, and you just profiled me and gave me an exact description of how I've been living my life. I'm ready to change. What does it mean to take action? Actions is the little thing. First of all, identify. Even if you can't identify your goals, a step backward would be find an influencer, find someone you resonate with, find a trait in an individual that you love, that you love to embody, then start working towards that. It could be something as easy as communication, physique, etc. The second thing is I challenge you to read a chapter a day for the next 30 days. This activity is not because of the knowledge and wisdom you get from the book, but the mindset of discipline and ethics, and the mindset that you know you're striving towards a better goal, you're striving towards something that will ultimately be profitable to you. That mindset of progress that you've transmuted towards degenerate outlets, we are trying to steer it into the right direction. So challenge yourself to read a chapter a day, do 10 push-ups a day, and see how you grow from there. Ultimately, the moment you start reading books, you see that it gives clarity to your thoughts. Those things you want to say, those things you've conceptualized before, but you do not know how to give it words. It frames your understanding. That is the essence of books, not just to follow some random guy on YouTube, follow his advice. I want you to sit there before you take in all I have said, before you soak in all I have said. I want you to sit there and actually think on all I have said. Juxtapose it with your current belief system. Even if it's contrary, I want you to have that self confidence because in today's age and era, we tell people once you disagree with someone, you're ultimately seen as arrogance, which is a fallacy. I want you to identify your belief system on all I have said. Even if it's contrary, I want you to own up to it and say, okay, this is my belief system. This is what I believe about life. I have been determined to. Has this belief system served me? No. Okay, it's time to adopt this new belief system that is proven to work. That's the first thing. First one is to take action. The second is when I say take action or plan, most people take time and conceptualize this master plan in their head. They're trying to be as meticulous as possible, which is wonderful, by the way. But if you create this rigid plan, you're never going to achieve it to the best, especially if you don't know where you're going to, especially if you don't have clarity in your goals, especially if you're just beginning. No one starts with a full vision of what he wants to do. No one starts like that. If you have what you want to do, if you have a full idea of what you want to do, you are already in error. Imagine someone telling Michael Jordan at 17 that he's going to be the best basketball player, also a businessman, also an influencer, also a speaker motivating people from the ends of the earth. That's as asinine as saying when you keep planning and never taking action, nothing is going to substitute action, actual going outside to raise the dust. No amount of watching me is going to substitute for action. No amount of listening to podcasts or planning and getting these dopamine hits when you're writing this step-by-step list on how to execute and you ultimately do not execute, which leads you frustrated and you blame everything. You say, oh, I tried this, it didn't work. But actually, what you just did is planned. You never executed. So that's as asinine as saying when you keep planning, it's the same thing as saying you as a 6 year old give me a rigid description of how your life is going to be in the next 10 years or define with that level of limitation how your life is going to be now, the kind of friends you kept, the kind of business you ventured in, the kind of relationship you entered. That is asinine. The only thing you can do is to align yourself in paths that puts you in a position to make better decisions or better future. Reading books, improving a skill. When you improve a skill, there's no guarantee that that skill is going to come to fruition. But the only guarantee you have is going to put you in better positions to achieve that which you desire. That's all it is. That's the second thing. The third thing is take action. Shoot the gun. Shoot the gun. Take action. Stop waiting for something external to happen. You want to start a YouTube channel and you're waiting for a camera. It's not going to work that way. Clear out some stories. Start using your phone. You don't, oh, I don't have tripods yet. Maybe when I save up enough money to get tripods. You don't need tripods. Put up some, ladder up some books and start that way. More tools will be found along the way, but you're not going to find those tools if you don't take action. It was Misato Musashi who said, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step. Even if you don't arrive at your destination, when you look back, the amount of steps you've taken and the progress and the character and the lessons you've learned on the way would be substantial compared to if you hadn't begun the journey. Action is one of the most difficult things to do. We could talk about it, we could write about it, but very few people would act on what I'm actually saying. All going to be in the comment section saying, yeah, bro, you changed my life, you did this, you did that, you did that. But very few of you are actually going to act on what I have said. Take action. Shoot the gun, shoot the gun, and as you shoot the gun, you realize how further you are from your desire, and you always have to adjust the scope. And when you keep doing that, life is all about iteration and feedback. The more iteration and analysis you do, the closer you are to your goal. An inch of action moves you closer to your goal than miles of intention. Take action today, my friend. Nothing is going to substitute for action. Secondly, you can't fully form the path you're going to take. The only thing you can do is to make decisions and tasks that moves you or puts you in a better position to achieve that which you desire. You want to be a good communicator, start reading books. You don't have to attend all these seminars. And I always say this in my videos to my audience, that you Webchon family, if you just began your path on personal development, the first thing you have to do is to not pay a single dime for a course, because those who were teaching you never paid such before they got to where they are. I'm not saying that you shouldn't pay for a course, but you should develop yourself to a point where you are enlightened and have sufficient information on that wise to distinguish between a premium course and a free course. We live in the age of the internet. Information has been so democratized. There's nothing you want that you can't find. The Bible says it, seek and you shall find. You might not get the whole information, but you can have sufficient knowledge that acts as a stepping stone to that next thing. The only difference between you and I, or the only difference between you and the next version of you, is to ask the right questions. So you have to develop yourself enough and put your mindset in a position where you know the right questions to ask. Saying I want money, how can I get money? Of course, we are just learning, and that is at least that's the step for at least that's the step closer to what you want to desire. But the real thing is what can I offer to get this result I desire? Because most of you would visualize, see yourself flying private jets, meditate, pray, chant affirmations, hold hands around the campfire reciting platitudes. It's never going to work. You rarely do you visualize what you give in exchange for that lifestyle you want. Money is not going to fall on your lap. Yes, you can attract opportunities, but when you attract opportunities, you have to offer value in order to maximize that opportunity. That's all it is. If you're valueless, even if you sit in front of Elon, he's going to offer you a job which requires you working. So there's no avoiding it. If there's no avoiding it, why don't you become proficient at it so you gain more for your service? As always, friends, appreciate you, Webchon family. Thank you for 1 million subscribers. I'll see you in the next one. Not 1 million subscribers, I see you all as family. So 1 million family. See you in the next one.